Before we get into all the politics around this, are you with the Speaker on back pay for federal workers?
So without a doubt, back pay for federal workers who have not been furloughed, who have been working, should absolutely be paid. There's no question about that. Where the discussion is for individuals who have been furloughed, who are not working during the shutdown. That is where the big debate is.
Mr. Chairman, I was just talking about the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act of 2019, which is the law that is, of course, at hand here, which the president signed in his first term. It does ensure that furloughed workers are made whole following the end of a shutdown. Should we be looking at this law differently?
I think what we need to be looking at, we shouldn't even have to discuss this law at hand. The Democrats need to open up government. They're on the 6th vote right now in the United States Senate, blocking just a continuation of funding. We're just trying to fund government as it was on September 30th today. If they just open it up, there would be no question about who's getting paid. All federal employees would get paid. Do your job. Do something that you did 6 months ago. This bill is exactly the same to what they passed in March of this year, but they're only holding it hostage right now because of their unrelated policy objectives. They don't oppose anything within this 24-page continuing resolution of funding. They want things outside of the bill. That is why they're voting no. They're not voting against what's in it and who's affected. The 1.3 million military personnel a week from today that will not have a paycheck. This is absolutely inappropriate.
Do you have the same approach then to military paychecks? There's been a question, I'm sure you've discussed it with your colleagues, about whether there should be a separate piece of legislation to make sure that the military is paid, maybe using that $150 billion in the big, beautiful bill. The Speaker clearly doesn't like that idea. How about you?
The Speaker is exactly right. We've already done our job. We funded government more than 3 weeks ago, paying all military personnel. The Democrats have always supported this in the past, but once again, they're playing political games with people's future and people's livelihoods. They need to stop obstructing. The 60-vote filibuster over the United States Senate, they need to break that right now if it means delivering paychecks for military and to open up government. It is unacceptable that Chuck Schumer and Democrats can hold hostage the economy. They can hold hostage the government.
You hear all the same arguments that I do, Mr. Chairman, specifically when it comes to not necessarily impoundment, but the extension of Obamacare subsidies. And I realize that you're framing that as an unrelated issue. Democrats say, hey, we've had 2 rescissions packages so far, and letters are going out with rising premiums. If we don't deal with this now, we're going to miss the deadline at the end of the year. What's your response?
Premiums have gone up 80% in the last 10 years in Obamacare exchanges. Premiums have continued to go up because it's been a complete failure. What they've done with these subsidies only increases the incentive for insurance companies to raise premiums, which is the wrong thing. Can we get together and have a good discussion about access to health care? We absolutely should. I represent an area that rural health care is in dire need. But guess what? One of the demands that the Democrats have within let's reopen government for 28 days is by cutting $50 billion for rural health care. That is unacceptable. So let's have a real discussion. But those premium tax credits, they don't expire till December 31st. And the only reason why they expire is because the Democrats made them temporary and not permanent in the Inflation Reduction Act.
Well, should they expire? I know that you have members of your conference who say these were COVID-era subsidies and they have no purpose now.
They should not be extended as they are, because a married couple making more than $600,000 a year are being subsidized for this. That's completely unacceptable. We have to look at what will bring down the cost of premiums, what will provide more access to health care. This is what needs to be in the discussion. And let's try to do some transformational health care policy that delivers for all Americans, not just 24 million Americans, because that's what's on the exchange exchanges. There's 347 million Americans. 174 million are employee health care insurance, and we're not even discussing that with all of these premium tax credits. 78 million people are on Medicare. 82 million are on Medicaid. That's not even being discussed by those folks on premium tax credits. So we're only talking about 24 million people when they talk about those premium tax credits.
Well, you've got a pretty unique view as chair of the House Ways and Means Committee. And outside of the blame game, and I know there's a lot of noise in politics here, and you're effective at making your case, Mr. Chairman. Outside of who's at fault, how much longer do you think this goes? The president said 4 or 5 days we might start to talk about real mass layoffs. Is that when the government reopens?
You know, it's disturbing. There's no winners here. The people that's losing is the American public. I said at the very beginning, if the Democrats force the shutdown, it will probably be longer than the prior shutdown, which was 35 days, because the Democrats will have to vote for the bill that they have continued to vote against now 6 times over in the United States Senate, and the same bill that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats voted for in March. Nancy Pelosi has been on record numerous times saying you should never shut down government for policy issues. You should fund government. Let's follow through with those actions.
It's looking, by the way, like the House passed continuing resolution that we're discussing here. The Republican version that we're discussing with the chairman is on the precipice of failure in the Senate. And with that said, Mr. Chairman, we could go through this 10, 20, 30 more times. To your point, who knows how long we're going to be closed. We've got November 21 as an end date on this CR. Is that going to need to be extended? Because, my goodness, this goes another couple of weeks. It's going to be a pretty short continuing resolution.
Well, the Democrats' CR that they wanted was only 28 days with an additional $1.4 trillion worth of spending, including providing health insurance for illegals and taking away $50 billion of rural health care. That was their alternative. We have to just open up government now. There's a CR that has passed the House. It's over in the Senate. They're on the 6th vote. The only reason why it's not passed in the Senate is because of a procedure vote where the Democrats are filibustering. Let them vote on the bill. Stop the filibuster. Just let them vote on the bill. If they do that, we'll be able to pass it.
Mm-hmm. You think we should do the filibuster like we used to in the old days, like actually have to get up there and filibuster and keep talking until you can't?
I think people have to earn their stripes, and they absolutely should have to actually filibuster, be talking at the microphone instead of just like, okay, if there's not 60 votes, it's not filibuster proof. That's right. Crazy. Force their hand.